What's going on? What's going on?
Entertain the Geeky.
Number one on the Entertain the Geeky network.
We have a network? No way. When did that happen?
You know, that's what we were trying to do when we brought Nerd News on. We were trying to get a couple other shows started.
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah, now we're going to have a network. This is the right thing to do. And we just were juggling too many things at that point in time, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
It was a lot. Anywho.
Yes. Hello.
Hey, guys.
Hello out there.
What's going on?
Comic-Con is going on. Well, as of right now, I think it's probably over. I don't know. Do they do anything on Sunday? I don't think they do anything on Sunday.
I don't know. I know. So.
I don't know.
Big story from Comic-Con.
Yeah, it's New York Comic-Con 2023. And
somebody shit on the floor.
Somebody shit on the floor, apparently.
I
don't know. I have no words. I don't have anything to say about that.
I see an article on comicbook.com about it, and I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, let's read this because this sounds hilarious. And the article, it just was almost satirical in nature.
Yeah.
They're like, what else is there to say? Someone defecated on the floor. And I'm like, well, I guess you pretty much summed up everything right there, motherfucker.
Said, yeah, enough said, for sure.
But I'm thinking, did they catch the culprit? Like, was there a chase?
I don't know.
Was it like a...
Can you get DNA from poo?
Was it a running shit?
Can you, run the poo through a DNA sequencing?
Was he sprinting and shit while running? Like, how did this happen? How did you allow it?
Did he just stand in line for too long and he just couldn't hold it anymore?
Yeah,
he didn't want to lose his place in line?
I really want to talk to Jeff Johns.
Guess I'm pooping right here. That's how pooping's happening today. But yeah, so New York Comic Con has all kinds of things going on. One of the top stories I kept seeing on all the things I was looking at a minute ago before we were getting ready to start was there's a new Dragon Ball. There's more Dragon Ball.
Oh, thank God.
New Dragon Ball. That I would imagine probably will be set within what they've been doing with like the movies, right? Because the movies have kind of been their own little thing as well.
You know, I admittedly, my fling with Dragon Ball was isolated to the year 2000, and it only went on for a couple short months.
Sure.
Like it wasn't the show for me, and it's funny. I think I've had this conversation with a lot of friends over the years. I am a massive fan of Western style storytelling. The Eastern style storytelling, a little different. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It's just not my cup of tea.
There's nothing wrong with it, but yeah, some of it I can't get into either. It's hard for me, right? We were just talking because another thing that was announced was there's a live action Yu Yu Hakusho that's coming to Netflix in December, I think is what I saw. And Corey is a huge Yu Yu Hakusho fan.
Is she?
Yeah, yeah. She's got a hoodie with the characters on it. It's funny too. You always know who the weebs are when you go out into the world and she's wearing this hoodie and someone will be like, "Ha!"
They do the gun finger thing at her. Yeah.
Hey. Yes. So there's
the weebs.
I say that lovingly. I have nothing against people who are really into anime. There's a lot. I know a lot.
I mean, here, dude, we've been on the other side of that coin many times.
Right. I know and love a lot of people who are really into anime, and there are some animes that I've gotten into over the years. I liked Bebop. I liked Trigun. I liked Soul Eater. These were kind of these were my thing.
Yeah.
So, but it's not all for me. And Yu Yu Hakusho is a perfect example of one that is just a little too much. Sometimes, like, I'll come home and she'll be watching it, and I'm just sitting there like, what is this show?
It's the only
I don't
time
understand.
He walks in and says, "Turn that shit off."
No. But it is something where, like, whether I vocalize it or not, in my head, I'm just like, I have no idea what this is. I don't understand how it flows. I don't understand who these people are.
Look.
And like, oh, watch it, and there'd be more. So maybe, we were talking, and I sent her a text, and she sent me that meme of Chris Pratt from Parks and Rec looking really surprised because she didn't know I'm, following the updates as they come in. And she said, she even made a point to say, like, I won't make you watch it. And I was like, no, I'll watch it with you. I don't understand what's happening in that cartoon, but like, I can get down from the beginning of a live action treatment. Like, I'm down, right?
Well, it's like when Netflix did Death Note with William Dafoe. I watched it because Dafoe was in it.
It's so bad, though.
I didn't say it was great.
So bad, though.
But
Death Note is a great story, but man, that live action thing was so bad. But
Didn't say it was
apparently,
good.
yeah, but apparently I haven't watched it. But apparently the One Piece live action
supposed to be
is
really
great.
good.
Like,
It's
everybody's
supposed to be
raving.
really good,
Like,
yeah.
oh, it's so good. And I don't know anything about One Piece, so that might be another one to try for the first time. You know?
Sure, yeah.
I know they're pirates.
Well, fucking the folks at Netflix are brilliant because they really have been in front of the ball on this with the live action anime stuff.
Yeah. Whether that was something people were asking for, I don't know. You know,
I think to an extent.
I remember
yeah.
starting to see some of them getting trailers and stuff, and I was like, did anybody ask for this?
Yes,
though?
yes.
Like,
The anime fans want that shit. Well, because we've had superhero movies for fucking 20-something years now.
no, but like when it comes to anime, I feel like wouldn't you rather just see it as the anime? Because that's its whole deal, right?
I mean, wouldn't you rather see Captain America animated as fuck?
We have.
I know, but it was cool to see him in movies.
No, it wasn't.
Too. Oh, I was totally happy seeing him
Those
in the movies.
animated Captain America movies, they were really bad. They were bad movies.
Oh, no, that's it. No, but like Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes, great fucking series. Great series, man.
It had a good theme song, I'll give it that.
The Avengers Assemble.
Yeah, it had a good theme song, I'll give it that.
The 90s X-Men series, come on,
Yeah,
man.
it's good.
Yeah,
it's
but
fine.
I still want to see.
It doesn't hold up,
I
right?
still-
I think
no, it
that's the
doesn't.
problem, right? Is like when you look at certain cartoons like Batman, the animated series, you can watch that in any era, in any with any people.
It has.
It holds up.
It has that like 30s mob crime thing. That's baked
it doesn't
into
really
it.
know what it wanted to be, right? Because like they drove around in cars like from the 40s, but they also had cell phones, so it was like it didn't really know what it wanted to be. But that was kind of its charm, right?
No,
Is it kinda
that
just
made
was-
it very cool.
It kind of just was this melding of different eras.
But
of
because they did that, it almost
United
made it
States
timeless.
history. Yeah.
And I think that was clever of them. So
yeah,
yes,
that X-Men 90s series, that doesn't hold
it didn't
up.
age well.
No, it doesn't hold up.
But it was a product of the time because the
No, I
Iron
mean, I
Man
loved it when I
series
was a
that was
kid,
out
sure.
then, but that Spider-Man series that was out at the same time was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was okay.
Did you ever watch Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
With Firestar and
Iceman?
Johnny. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. I do enjoy the animated stuff, but that doesn't mean I don't want to see it in a movie. I'm cool watching it.
Yeah, sure, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I just think there's anime as a genre. That's what it's called. It's about these unique animation styles and telling a story from a weird kind of perspective. Yeah. And just telling weird stories, telling stories that it's just like, how did you come up with this?
So
Right?
his spirit was trapped in this wolf, but then the spirit came back to his son, and now he can shoot lasers out of his finger.
It's
you're
crazy
like,
sometimes. Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay.
But Dragon Ball's always been kind of I think,
That's
it
a
has
staple.
it has the weirdness that I think is accompanies a lot of anime, but it also, I always felt like had a more Western storytelling and stuff like that. Like it has the weird things like Master Roshi being like super horny for all the ladies, It had weird things that typify other anime.
Right, there's the Japanese perversion that they like to bring in.
But I think it's always felt like a more Western style of telling an anime story.
It's a pretty typical.
It's a superhero story. Yeah, it's a superhero story,
Yeah.
right? And villains and a coterie of different people and villains in his life. Yeah. So yeah, I think Dragon Ball has always had a different appeal. But yeah, so there's new Dragon Ball. It's coming in 2024, apparently. So one of the things that's been at the top of my list recently on the show, going back several episodes, if you're following, is the return of the Ultimate Universe. And there is a one-shot coming out November, I think, because Ultimate Invasion just ended. Yeah, I think the one-shot comes out next month. And it will kind of be a springboard for what the new series were going to be. Well, so we weren't sure what those series were going to be. But it turns out we are now. There is first will be an Ultimate Spider-Man series,
of course,
by Hickman and Marco Cicchetto.
Damn.
Oh, Marco Cicchetto is a great artist who's done stuff on Daredevil. He's done stuff for Image. He's a fantastic artist, and he draws Spider-Man so interesting. I always loved how he designed characters. He did Punisher when Greg Rucka was writing it.
That was a cool run of
Really good.
Too.
Yeah, really good. So big superstar lineup for the Ultimate Spider-Man book, and it's going to be something we haven't seen before, according to Hickman. He was talking about it at New York Comic Con.
I mean, dude, Hickman doing fucking Ultimate Spider-Man is
sure,
almost baffling.
But it almost sounded like, just based on the interview I read, now I obviously wasn't watching it live, I didn't get the inflection and kind of the connotation of some of these things, but it seems like what he's trying to imply is that this is not going to be a Spider-Man we know.
Right. Well, I'm wondering
if this is going to be someone completely different.
I'm wondering if they are not going to give us the treatment of Spider-Man being a fucking more of a centerpiece in the Marvel universe.
Well, sure, yeah. He was the centerpiece in the Ultimate Universe too.
Of course.
Spider-Man's a pretty key figure.
He's a key character. However, typically speaking, his stuff is not the earth-shattering stuff that your Avengers crossovers and whatnot deal with.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I'd agree to that.
To see more of that, I think, and especially with Hickman writing it, because that just is his thing.
Yeah.
Everything is universe-altering. So I'm wondering if he's not maybe going to take Spider-Man in that direction more, and we'll get this, this cosmic Spider-Man again kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
It would. So yeah, that one's coming in early next year. These are all next year titles.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate Black Panther. So yeah, Black Panther was in the Ultimate Universe before. He was experimented on. And he had like actual panther claws that were like tiny versions of Wolverine claws, kind of that would just kind of come out of his fist. So I don't know, what we've seen of Black Panther and Ultimate Invasion is a different guy entirely, kind of a more accurate kind of guy.
Sure.
But it seems like with the absence of the Maker in the aftermath of the Invasion story, this world that he's built, that's kind of built on this, upper elite and staged political theater and keeping the masses distracted with, this is the bad guy now. We all don't like Russia now. And in the Ultimate Universe, in this version of the Ultimate Universe, Russia is literally like represented by Colossus and magic and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Mutants represent the country. Yeah. So there's a weird power vacuum that happens as everything the Maker has built kind of starts to crumble without him, and infighting begins. And one of the groups apparently is going to be targeting Africa, and Wakanda is what stands in their way. Yeah. Is be targeting Africa for like absorption into their part of their piece of the pie.
Right.
Yeah. They're trying to annex it, essentially.
That sounds fucking intense.
And so, yeah, the Black Panther book will be about
keeping Africa free.
If I remember, in the little description, it said, the Black Panther will defend Wakanda. Now, does that mean it's T'Challa? Not necessarily, right? I think what the Ultimate Universe always did well and still is great at, they're reprinting a lot of Ultimate stuff in omnibus form. So if you wanted to check it out and you never read the single issues, there are ways to get it now. In these nice little omnibuses. I mean, they're not cheap. They're big and phone book size and like $100 a pop. But
yeah, they're fucking well worth it.
But they're worth it.
If you're just wanting to read the material, that is the way to do it, man.
So I think again, one of the things that the Ultimate Universe always did well was subvert our expectations.
Sure.
Right? Was make us keep us guessing at what was going to happen.
They do interesting side steps to keep you really hooked into the story.
Yeah, I mean, the end of Ultimate X-Men #1 is still a moment that will stick in my head forever, because we've been introduced to the X-Men. They went on a little adventure. They fought a Sentinel, and even though they saved everybody, people are mad and they're throwing stuff at them and whatever. And we cut to, in the last couple of pages of that book, we cut to Magneto in the Savage Land talking to Quicksilver. And he's talking about how, look what Xavier's doing. And he's like, he's ruining the dream and all of this, right? And Quicksilver even has a moment where he says, tell me where he is, Father, and I promise you he will be dead between your next two heartbeats. And Magneto, chiding his son, because he's in the Ultimate Universe, he just doesn't like Quicksilver, says, Oh my God, are you kidding? Your brain would be shut down before you were halfway across the ocean. Like, what are you talking about? This is Professor Xavier. We're talking like this is Charles Xavier. We're talking about like he would see you coming a mile away.
Yeah, he's one of the most powerful mutants ever.
He would see you coming a mile away. In fact, all the way around the world away, he would see you coming. Right?
He would shut your brain down.
Shut your brain down before you were halfway across the ocean. So then Magneto says, "No, I need a highly skilled, trained operative to infiltrate this little club he's putting together and get close enough to him to kill him. I need the Wolverine." Right? And then we cut to Wolverine, like, shirtless, gouges, cuts in him, and he's
still
like,
jacked.
He's got his claws through a giant crocodile's head, you know?
Normal stuff, man.
And that was the last page, right? That was the setup. So right away it was just like, whoa, Wolverine works for the Brotherhood, and he's going to be sent to infiltrate the X-Men so he can murder Professor Xavier. Like, what? What is happening? So they always did things to subvert our expectations. They always kind of surprised us and kept us guessing, especially if you knew who these characters were in the regular universe.
Right.
Yeah. So Black Panther, that was a long-winded way to get back around to Black Panther might not be the Black Panther we're expecting.
Sure.
We might have T'Challa just as the king of Wakanda, and some other champion of Wakanda is currently carrying the mantle of Black Panther.
Oh, man, that'd be fucking cool.
A son, perhaps. I don't know. We'll find out when it comes out next year. And then the third book is Ultimate X-Men, which Peach Momoko is going to write and illustrate.
Oh, wow.
And
hefty order there. Yeah.
So, yeah, it is. But, like, I think, Momoko kind of popped up and she was doing covers and different things.
Right.
And it was great, right? It was like, oh, my God, you're so good at this. You have such a unique style. And then they gave, they ended up doing a story called Demon Days. It was an X-Men story, like an Elseworlds type of other universe X-Men story that Momoko was going to write and draw. And a lot of us were like skeptical. We were like, oh yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't know. You're really good at art. That doesn't necessarily mean you might be.
You might not be shit when it comes
writing,
to writing.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. And they're not bad.
Right.
They're not great. They're not groundbreaking, but they're not bad. They're good stories.
I mean, it's such a heavy order. I don't feel like there are a lot of people who can accomplish doing the whole thing. Your exceptions there are your Todd McFarlanes and stuff.
We talked about another one last week, Daniel Warren Johnson, who's writing and drawing Transformers.
But those guys are far and few between. There's incredible storytellers out there. You've got your Scott Snyders and all that are just, I'm sorry. Scott.
You were correct. Don't second guess yourself.
No. It was Zack Snyder. It popped into my head too, and I'm like, whoa, different Snyder. And yeah, your Brian Michael Bendis. There's a bunch of guys out there that are just fantastic storytellers. But I'm sure if they pick up a pencil, it could be damning.
Sure.
So yeah, it's an interesting thing, and those guys that can do both, shit.
Yeah. So Momoko's taken on the weird, really unknown, because in Ultimate Invasion, we don't meet Professor Charles Xavier. We don't meet a Magneto. We meet some mutants, but they're really just like we meet Colossus and Ileana, his sister, Magic and Colossus.
But they're almost like cameos.
No, they're like the head of their nation.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, they're at the Makers meeting representing Russia.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So there are mutants. We know that they exist, but we don't know what that means for the rest of the world. We haven't met more than just a few, like a handful. We met DaCosta, Sunspot, or Sunfire, or whatever. Sunspot. Yeah. No, it was Sunspot. Sunfire was the Japanese guy.
Got you.
Yeah,
okay. Yep.
Sunspot. So yeah, we know that they exist. We don't really know what kind of influence they have, whether or not this is a world where they're hated and feared like every other world.
Or if they're political figureheads.
Or maybe, something has changed. So we'll see. I mean, I think Momoko, like I said, the weird X-Men stuff that has been in this little Demon Days corner that she's been doing, which is like X-Men stuff mixed with feudal Japanese culture. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. We've seen things like that before. Like they did a Wolverine story called Ronin.
In particular, yep.
Yeah, where he was like a Japanese Ronin in ancient feudal Japan.
He was the last samurai.
That series was actually pretty interesting, but we don't need to go into that. We'll talk about that
another time.
Talk about that some other time. That series was actually really interesting. But so yeah, I'm just based on what that has been, that weird little Demon Days thing. I'm in. I'm interested to see what Momoko will bring to the table.
What she'll turn out.
Because the Ultimate X-Men has the potential to be, just like in the original Ultimate Universe, the weird book.
Sure.
It's the weird book, right? It's the book where it's just like weird kind of shit happens, and you have weird mutations, and you have some mutants that are not like, normal. They don't look like normal people, so they can't
they're halfway
Nightcrawler and stuff like that, who can't just be out.
They have horns sticking out of their nose.
Yeah,
yes.
So he looks like a demon. Yeah, I mean, he's literally what descriptions of demons were.
But in the circus, I was the incredible Nightcrawler.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited that we're seeing 3 new Ultimate series. The Ultimate Invasion miniseries, the 4-issue miniseries that just ended, definitely ended with the Captain America reveal, right? Like Tony is Iron Lad in this universe, and maybe Kang. He might be the guy who ends up becoming Kang in the future. Who knows? It definitely seems like they're implying that.
Maybe it's just to throw the curveball.
Well, especially by calling him Iron Lad, though, right? Like in the regular continuity, Iron Lad is young Kang, right? Like from the Young Avenger. He was a Young Avenger. So it was an interesting thing.
You bastards.
And they're setting up, just like the original Ultimate Universe had like mystery set up right away. That we're just like, oh, we'll take some time and we'll get to this, but we'll set it up here. So it's him, the Reed Richards of this universe, who is locked inside of a Doom mask, like some kind of Man in the Iron Mask situation that the maker put on him, because and the way he worded it, he goes, "Why does he make you wear that mask?" He goes, "Oh, he put it on me when he first found me. He said it was to remind me of my true self." So the maker, who is Reed, right, is the original Ultimate Universe's Reed, who's a villain, found the Reed in this universe that he twisted into his own and locked him in a Doom helmet because, as he says, it's to remind him of who he really is.
Yeah, total prick move.
The Maker's a dark character. The Maker's basically saying, no, like, we're the bad guys. Don't you get it? We're too intelligent to be part of this world anymore.
We're too good for them.
We're just too smart,
right?
Like, we're too intelligent to be part of this anymore. We are above it. We are just as bad as Doom. We are Doom. Why are we fighting with Victor? We are Victor. He's a dark character, man. He's a weird guy. But in any case, this version of Mr. Fantastic and Iron Lad go, and the last shot of the Ultimate Invasion #4 is Captain America frozen in ice, like with his shield and stuff. So we know at some point there will probably be a relaunched Ultimates book, which is their Avengers team. Yeah.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah. I'm excited, man. I never thought I'd see another try at this, and here we are.
It's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because like you said, when they dissolved everything.
Yeah, when it all went down, I was just like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's over.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad thing to do,
No.
but it does. It's fucking nice, man, especially for new readers.
Yeah.
Jump in now.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're going to get some fresh new stories.
Well, yeah, and it seems like, because this is not the Ultimate Universe, this is a universe that the maker decided is going to be the new Ultimate Universe, and so he shaped it into what he wanted it to be. So you don't even, I would think you don't even have to know what happened in the original Ultimate Universe in order to jump into this,
no,
right?
Everything's going to be very augmented.
It's not the Ultimate Universe. So yeah.
Fucking sweet.
It's not, because it's 1616 was the Ultimate Universe. 616 was the regular, and this one was 1616. And that, so I'm sorry, that one was 1616. This one is not, right? This one is just a universe he found and turned into what he wanted it to be.
He's a crazy bastard.
It's Ultimate Universe 2.0, right? Like,
it's even gooder than the last one.
Put a 2.0 in front of everything, it's automatically better.
Automatically just
yeah,
much gooder.
Sticking with comic news, Jason Aaron, who has been the writer on had been the writer on Thor and Avengers, and he had big long arcs of things, is gonna leave from Marvel and go work for DC, and he's gonna write Action Comics as part of a Superman thing that he's launching.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm sad to see Josh Williamson stop writing Action Comics because I like what he's been doing, but I also really like Jason Aaron, and I think it's always interesting to see writers from either Marvel or DC go and write the other company's heroes because they bring with them perspective on a different company's heroes, right? And can oftentimes find some new ways to tell us stories about characters that have kind of always just been what they are.
Over the years, there's been so much of that too, though, and I feel like that's really kept the industry fresh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. What did I do with my?
I don't know.
It's down here.
Oh.
It's down here. It's over
In a
here.
secret spot.
Give him a drink.
So yeah, I think watching that happen over the years has kept stories fresh, and it's cool. It's cool when it happens.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Just as a whole.
Yeah. So Aaron's gonna go write Action Comics and launch some kind of Superman thing. There's not really much information about it. I think that maybe there was a name. I had a little article pulled up that had all the Comic-Con stuff that was going on because it's a lot. There's so much to keep track of.
Well, and they're shitting on the floor.
Well, yeah, and apparently so much shit on the floor.
That's the most important thing that happened at Comic-Con. You can disregard all this other stuff as long as you know that somebody shit on the floor at Comic-Con.
No, it doesn't have a name.
Fair enough.
It was just, the next thing.
Fair enough. What are our other orders of business here?
So the only other big comic story, well, it's not the only other big comic story. We can't obviously talk about every single thing that happened at New York Comic Con. There's just too much.
There was a lot.
We don't have that kind of time. But
you don't want us to.
But a couple of other things that jumped out, right? The Krakoan era in the regular Marvel Universe's X-Men comics is coming to an end. Fall of X is still an ongoing thing. And we've announced new titles in the aftermath. And I'm going to be honest. Look, I'm definitely a guy who...
You've been in love.
I love Hickman. I love the Krakoan era. I love what X-Men comics have become. I think it was the kind of jolt in the arm that the X-Men franchise needed to kind of stay relevant as, things like Guardians and Avengers have continued to expand and do different things. I think the X-Men needed to stay competitive in that way. That being said, I'm open to the idea of that going away and something new coming along. What I don't like is what I'm hearing about what the new things are, because it just seems like we're walking back a lot of the things that the Krakoan era did. So I'll give you an example. Bear with me while I find this information. It was one of the other top news stories. Because look, it's insane to me to see what an impact the Krakoan era has had on X-Men as a property when it comes to a big convention. Right? The biggest Marvel panel at this convention was the Krakoan era Fall of X-Men panel.
What happens when you have fucking Hickman writing something, though?
Well, but he hasn't been writing it. He hasn't been writing it since 2 years ago.
For a good minute. I guess fair. That's fair. When you have Hickman start something.
Sure.
Because it's always, this big, massive altering thing for whatever franchise it happens to be.
Yeah, exactly.
And for X-Men, we got the Krakoan era.
Well, and he did it with Avengers. Before that, he did it with Fantastic Four. Right. Before that, he's just really good at doing that. He's really good at kind of giving series the shot in the arm they need to kind of
Marvel knows that. Marvel knows that.
Yeah, I mean, it's why he's now doing the Ultimate Universe, I mean, he's the one who wrote Ultimate Invasion. He's writing Ultimate Spider-Man.
How exciting is that for him, though? Like, to get to basically build a brand new universe.
Well, that was where I first read Hickman. He was an Ultimate Universe writer. He wrote a Thor series. He wrote a Hawkeye miniseries. He wrote Ultimates when it was relaunched as like Ultimate Comics Ultimates. It was weird. The titles were all weird. But at one point it was relaunched. He was writing that when Captain America became president of the United States. Like, that was where we took that story, right? Like, so yeah. The Krakoan era is coming to an end, and they announced some new series that, again, just kind of, I don't know, just bother. It seems like we're walking some stuff back. So it will start with Fall of the House of X, written by Jerry Dugan and drawn by Lucas Wernick. It's a 5-issue series that will be directly in the aftermath of what's going on currently with all this. I mean, if you look at any X-Men book right now, it says Fall of X in the corner. They're all tying into it. In the aftermath, which will see the nation of Krakoa brought to its knees following several years of prosperity. The stakes will only have grown more dire by that point, with Cyclops on trial for his life and the last remaining mutants making their final stand against Orcus, which is the big terrorist organization that's caused all of this. He seeded that from the very beginning, though. That's something that I think is so cool. Orcus was there at the very beginning of House of X. They were there. We knew that's who they were. And they've kind of just been quietly
doing their thing, using
in
their
the background.
Yeah.
So then Rise of the Powers of X will be the next series, written by Kieran Gillen and drawn by R.B. Silva, who drew the original Powers of X. In case anybody out there did not know that. R.B. Silva is fantastic. This 5-issue series takes place 10 years into the Marvel Universe's future as the X-Men rally to stop Nimrod and the Omega Sentinel from summoning a machine god and destroying Earth in their ascension. The machines are going to ascend, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to become gods. Singularities, yes. Right? Now, this is also something that I'm going to stop for a sec with that, because this is also something that was seeded right from the beginning. Right, the Powers of X story was about a world where human and machine were one, and the mutants were still the outlier in that. Right, the machines had there was no difference now between machine and organic and inorganic. They were one. They were one being, and the next stage of their life cycle would be to ascend and become a being of energy in space. Almost
godlike. Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Become a singularity, which would then become a giant other thing and become a giant other thing, right? There was all kinds of... There was levels that you ascended through. So we know that there is a part of their future where that could be a potential thing. That could happen. And it seems like that's what, at least they're going to use this Rise of the Powers of X. So Rise of the Powers of X, far into the 10 years into the future, and it's going to show them trying to stop that from happening, because we know where that leads, right? That leads to mutants being treated like zoo animals and locked in a zoo, as the last mutants are dying off. So then X-Men Red, the current writer of X-Men Red, Al Ewing, who is awesome, by the way, at anything weird and sci-fi. He's just great. Will be contributing his own series in the final chapter of the Krakoan Age. Ewing and Luciano Vecchio are collaborating on a 4-issue miniseries called Resurrection of Magneto. This is where it started to take a turn for me. I was like, resurrection? No. When Magneto died, they had wrote this huge, and Dugan, I think, was the one responsible for it. And he's like at the top of the X-Men writer's desk right now. They had this whole thing with Magneto where he was just like, look, I'm giving up all my backups because I don't fear death. I fear what I would become with immortality.
Right.
Like Magneto acknowledges that if he's got to go, he's got to go. Immortality is more dangerous to him.
It's not good for him.
Is more dangerous to him than death. So we're going to bring him back, I guess. We're going to undermine all of that good character development that Magneto got, and we're just going to bring him back.
He's an X-Men mainstay. I mean, come on.
Look, I understand that, but I thought that just happened. Like, let's wait a little bit of time before we bring him back. That just happened.
Typically we work in 2-year intervals with these things. Like
Avengers, X-Men, Eternals was last year, though. It just happened last year. That's when he died.
That's what I'm saying. Typically,
I think it ended in January.
We should have 2 years between this shit happening. That's normally the cycle with this sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know why they're bringing him back, but the current X-Men saga and all of the fall of House of X and rise of Powers of X and all of these things that are going on will wrap up the current X-Men line. And Tom Brevoort, who's a longtime editor at Marvel, who's currently the Avengers desk editor, is going to be making the jump to the X-Men line in 2024 and obviously has probably, his own plans for the future of X-Men and what it is in the Marvel Universe. I don't know. I'm going to be a little sad to see this all end because I liked it a lot.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. It's odd because, it's always cool to have a new jumping on point in these stories and stuff. But sometimes you've got something so cool built up that it's like, dude, you gotta fucking ride this wave ashore, and it doesn't seem like it's ashore yet. But maybe they're wrapping it up gracefully. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Like the stuff I've read for Fall of X is good, right? These writers that have been doing this and kind of picked up after Hickman left and have just kind of kept building on what he was doing. They're good at it. It's a good story, but it's sad not only to see all the work and because what House of X was and what Powers of X was in story form were finally mutants saying enough is enough. We live here on this planet too. We should have all the sovereignty and rights that you have, and so we're just going to do that. And we'll wait it out on our little island until you kill each other, and then we'll take what's left of the planet. But in the meantime, we're going to give you some drugs that are going to extend your life and that are going to cure brain diseases and cancers and stuff. We're going to give you some medicine so that you can have the full life you deserve.
Just leave us alone.
Right. Just leave us alone.
Yep.
Let us live. Let us be a part of this world just like you are. And it seemed like that's happened. They've tried that so many times with so many different things. We had Utopia. We had Asteroid M. We had the Savage Land. We've had so many times where we've tried to make this kind of thing happen. And it just doesn't work out. And it seemed like through Moira's gift, through Moira's abilities, we finally got it right.
Sure.
We finally were putting something in place that was going to sustain us and let us live on into the future. And we're just going to stop all of that and go back to the mansion probably, because why not? Everyone loves the mansion, right? No, I don't love the mansion.
Sick of this fucking mansion.
I'm sad about all of it. It's sad. But yeah, that was some of the big things that caught my eye as I was going through news. There's obviously so much more. There was new trailers for season 2 of Invincible. There was new trailer for that. Yeah, there was new trailer for that MonsterVerse thing that has got Godzilla in it. What's it called?
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah. It's like a MonsterVerse thing. It's all the monsters.
Yeah,
it's gonna be on Netflix, maybe something. I don't know.
Something like that.
I don't remember.
I thought it was Max.
Oh, is it Max?
I thought so.
Look. The funny thing is, I'm sure it's in one of these.
No, you know what? I think you are right.
I'm sure it's in one of these.
I think that one was Netflix. Because I thought that was a curveball. I think you're right.
Yeah, there's some kind of big monster thing about to happen.
Yeah,
it's gonna have Godzilla, and it's gonna have. No, I think Max, because Godzilla and King Kong are owned by Warner.
They are Time Warner, but I think for whatever reason Netflix got this one. I think you're right.
Okay.
I think that was because I remember reading that article and thinking, what? That's kind of odd.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know. Here, you guys know, or you have the internet in front of you, so get on here and correct us.
You would think I would know, because I have the internet right in front of me, and I was actually using it as a tool during
He had his supercomputer in his hand and couldn't fucking figure it out, so we need you guys to use your hand computers.
But see, that's the problem. Do you know how much news there is? Have you been following these past 3 days? Because I have. There's a lot of stuff.
So much shit.
There's a lot of stuff.
I mean, people shitting on the floor.
That happens at this convention. We're never going to get over people shitting on the floor.